guys, just when we thought that the UK is giving us back-to-back basbos with their, constant immigration policy changes here and there, and then we thought, oh, it couldn't get worse. Canada started again. They dropped their own bombshell January 22nd and then changed immigration. They dropped policies that will definitely affect people going to Canada to study, especially if you want to go with your dependents and things like that. So you have to think about it twice. So on today's episode of Yettysplash, I'm going to be telling you the 3 major changes in Canada immigration policy that you need to be aware of before you apply to study in Canada. You have to be able to weigh your options to know if this policy, how it's going to impact, if it's favorable for you, and if you should still go ahead to make application to study in Canada. So if this interests you, please do well to subscribe, like, share, and don't go anywhere. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're discussing Canada. So like I said at the beginning of this video, on the 22nd of January, Canada released their own bombshell on immigrants and let them know that there are going to be some drastic changes. In fact, they want to reduce it by 35. They want to decrease the number of people that will come to the number of study permit that will be issued by 35%. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it word for word before I explain how this is going to affect anyone planning to study in Canada. Okay, so the headline: Canada to stabilize growth and decrease number of international student permits issued to approximately 360,000 for 2024. So guys, the Honorable Minister of Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship, that's Mark Miller, announced on the 22nd of January that the government of Canada will set an intake cap on international student permit applications to stabilize new growth for a period of 2 years. So they are implementing a cap system for the next 2 years to be able to stabilize their economy and their immigration growth, because they think that the numbers, they can no longer handle it. So this is what they're going to do. And for the year 2024, they've decided that they will only be issuing 360,000 study permits only. No more, no less. Just 360,000. And then that's a 35% decrease from what they issued in 2023, which means they're going to lose money anyways, but I think they're okay with it. And it's not that by 2025 they are then going to revisit the numbers again and then advise accordingly, either increase it or decrease it. We do not know, but we are sure that for 2024 Canada is not going to be issuing nothing more than 360,000 student permits for students that want to come and study in Canada. And that is not even the only thing, guys. They went further to state that in the spirit of fairness, individual, provincial and territorial caps have been established weighted by population, which will result in much more significant decrease in provinces where international student population has seen the most unsustainable growth. What they're saying now is that because people are so focused on some province, like maybe like British Columbia, for instance, these places are now so populated. Like overpopulation is the issue. They're having problems with health and care, housing crisis, whatnot, yada yada yada. So they now want to sort of create a provincial cap to ensure that some places are not overpopulated than the other, and they are able to even out the numbers of visa issues according to these provinces and territories. So basically they are saying IRCC will allocate a portion of the cap to each province and territory, who would then distribute allocation amongst their designated learning institution. To implement the cap, as of January 22, 2024, every study permit application submitted to IRCC will also require an attestation letter from a province or territory, guys. Meaning if you don't have a letter of attestation from the province you're going to study, you cannot even put in an application to study. So it's now a mandatory requirement to get a letter from the province you want to study. So until they've issued you this letter, before you can then proceed to apply for your student permit. Okay, so they went further by saying that these provinces and territories are expected to establish a process for issuing attestation letters to students by no later than March 31st, 2024. So this province will then come together and say, oh, this is how I want to issue it. This is how we're going to decide. No, this is what will be the deciding factor. Bearing in mind that they are going to also give them cap of numbers of, of students permits to be issued. So it's a whole lot, guys. And moving forward, these temporary measures will be in place for 2 years, and the number of new student permit application will be accepted in 2025 will be reassessed at the end of this year period. So they're not sure of how many number of students they will accept in 2025. We don't know if it's going to be more than 350,000 that will be accepted for this year, but then it is what it is. So that's the first update you need to know, guys, the cap update. So that's update number 1, which is like the cap update. You have to know that Canada is not issuing more than 350,000 student visa, and then they are going to distribute this across the province so that some areas are populated will then be even out, and you know people will be everywhere, like students will be, you know, sort of like spread out to this other province, and you don't just put the pressure on 1 or 2 or 3 most popular provinces that people do relocate to. Okay, so now the second one has to do with postgraduate work permits, right? I told you the first one has to do with cap, the number of people coming in. This one has to do with post-study work permit, and this one is a shocker. So let me read it, guys. They said, in order to better align the postgraduate work permit program, we are changing the eligibility criteria. So meaning starting September 1, 2024, international students will begin a study program that is part of a curriculum licensing agreement will no longer be eligible for a postgraduate work permit upon graduation. So basically they're saying that private schools that are operating under a curriculum licensing agreement will no longer, anybody who study in this kind of university will not be eligible for a post-study work permit. So you have to shine your eyes before you put into application. I think, is it Fleming College or something? They might be affected by this rule as well, because they're like a private college. So you have to be sure of the kind of university or colleges you're applying to know that if this college will then give you the opportunity to be able to apply, to be eligible to apply for a post-study work permit after the end of your course. So it's really important that you note this. So moving on, they further stated that under curriculum licensing agreement, students physically attend a private college that has been licensed to deliver the curriculum of an associated public college. So this program has seen significant growth in attracting international students in recent years, though they have less oversight than public colleges, and they act as a loophole with regards to post-graduation work permit eligibility. So it's the same thing I've just said, like if you're attending private schools, most likely you will not be eligible for post-study work visa. So you need to start targeting, you know, public schools in Canada if you want to study in Canada and you want to be eligible for post-study work permit. Now, that is not even all, right? When it comes to post-study work permit, they are now saying that graduates of master's degree program will soon be eligible to apply for a 3-year work permit, which is good anyways. Under current criteria, the length of a postgraduate work permit is based solely on the length of the individual studies program, hindering master's graduate by limiting the amount of time they have to gain work experience and potentially transition to permanent residence. So this one is like a good news at least. So they're looking for ways whereby post-study work permits will not be, you know, now if you're doing a 1-year course, you get 1 year post-study work permit, 2 years, 2 years. But now they are saying that even if you're doing a 1-year course, they want to like extend master's post-study work permit to at least 3 years. So that's like a good news, right? That's the second update. So the third and final update has to do with open work permits for dependents, right? For spouse, for your partner. So in the weeks ahead, open work permits will only be available to spouses of international students in master's and doctoral program. Hey, the spouses of international students in other levels of study, including undergraduate and college program, will no longer be eligible. So you know, if you are coming to do undergraduate and you bring you can still bring your dependent, but the condition is that they will not be able to work. So want to come and bring dependents in the UK or in the abroad that is not working. It doesn't make any sense. So this one is a big blow, like a big blow. So they are only saying that for your partner to be eligible, or for your spouse to be eligible for open work permits, meaning for them to be able to work, that spouse of international students must have studied or should be studying a master's and doctoral program, right? So the important measures announced today complement other recently announced student programs. Taken together, they aim to ensure genuine students receive the support they require and have the resources they need for an enriching study experience in Canada, while at the same time stabilizing the overall number of students arriving and alleviating pressures on housing, healthcare, and other services in Canada. So guys, this is just the major update for Canada. Please do well to subscribe, okay? Let me break it down now, right, into 3 summary. The first one has to do with cap. Only 350,000 visas will be issued. You can take that as 1A. And 1B is the fact that you will now need a letter of attestation from your province before you apply for your study visa. So number 2 has to do with post-study, work permits, meaning that if you attend a private college, you might not be eligible for post-study work permit anymore because they are revoking it and they are stopping that. You have to have attended like a public school before you're eligible to apply for your post-study work permit. That is 2. Then the final one has to do with like spousal open work permit. So if you're coming to Canada with your dependents, with your spouse, then they'll only be eligible to get an open work permit if you're studying a master's or a doctoral degree. So if you're doing like undergraduate or diploma, your partner will no longer be eligible to apply for the open work permit, which literally translates to they cannot work. Anyways, it is well. Please guys, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. This is the latest updates in Canada. If you're looking to move to Canada, you have to weigh your options. If you're single, are you married, what course do you want to do? You have to be strategic about it. You can't just do any other course. You can't just come for diploma this, diploma that. It's best you do a master's if you want your partner to come, and then they'll also be able to work, which is good. And you also need to know that you have to be very on top of your game now, because it's going to be quite competitive to get a study visa to study in Canada, considering the fact that they've decreased the number of permits by 35%. So you have to be proactive if you're willing to study in Canada. Anyways guys, that's the end of today's video. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to keep following Yettysplash for more, and stay blessed. Bye guys.